What is up, y'all? Welcome to the Three Wheel Golf Show, where we talk shop. We always go 4-2, and we never ever three putt. First, thank y'all for being here. If this is your first time, we release a new episode every Monday. Unfortunately, this week with the Monday finish, this episode's coming out on Tuesday, but it was cool. First Monday finish ever for the players. But that's our weekly wrap. We talk about the previous week in professional golf, who won, who lost, who's trending, and then we give our expert picks as to who we think will find themselves in the winner's circle come the end of the week. Along with that, we'll have guests on the show a couple times a month, talk about their life, business, and love for the links. As far as the winner's circle picks, Spencer brought up a great idea, I don't know, 6-7 episodes ago, where we do a weekly bet. So we take our picks, we run them head to head, and whoever has the best finish gets a W for the week in the win column. And then at the end of the month, or at the end of the season, rather, whoever has the most wins will get a nice $50 bill. Who's on the 50? Is that Hamilton? Is Hamilton the $50 bill?
That's a good question.
All right, there's our quick trivia for the day. Who's on the 50? I think it's Hamilton. I could be way wrong. Yes, I'm not even close. Ulysses S. Grant. I I think Hamilton's on some type of monetary denomination. Okay, now we got to check out that. What is Hamilton on? Money. $10. He's on the $10 bill. He's on the $10 bill. Okay. Oh man. Well, we were just chatting. If you guys have been listening in, I am seeing there. I'm getting some regular listeners on the podcast, which is awesome. There's one from gosh, I can't even remember. There's like one from Germany. There's a couple listeners from Germany who's tuning into about every week. There's a couple from New Jersey. There's a couple from Asia. It's weird. It's just weird. But I'm glad to see that you guys are listening and tuning in. That tells us that we're at least putting a little something good out there for y'all. It's continuing to grow slowly but surely. But more than anything, it's just fun for Spencer and I to talk golf and um, catch up, shoot the shit, talk shop, all the good stuff. But what I was saying is, if you guys have been listening, Spencer's expecting a little one. Baby is due really any time, right? But induction scheduled for next Monday is what we were saying, the 24th. So, yeah, exciting stuff, man. About to have your world rocked again.
Exactly.
Oh man. Well, and you guys are not finding out the gender.
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah.
We don't.
Yeah.
Cheering for a boy.
Yeah, for sure. That's such a fun surprise. That is such a fun surprise. We did that too with Rory, and I think if you do it the first time, you don't ever go back.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's pretty common.
Yeah. Yeah. I know some people will find out the gender and then the next time they're like, oh, well, wait. But it is such a great surprise. And you guys have names picked out, right? At this point, whether for boy or girl?
Yeah.
And you're not sharing them, right? Until the day of?
Yeah, pretty much not
Okay.
till the day of, so.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. That's great, man. Well, it was a great players championship weekend, dude. I mean, it was a mixture of a couple really gettable, scoreable days of sawgrass, starting Thursday, Friday with the easier pins, and then it got dicey over the weekend, and the leaderboard was not the typical star-studded leaderboard. It was a mixture of, guys that have been there, some guys with some experience, and then a handful of guys who never knew, have never been in that situation. So what do you think?
Yeah.
What was your takeaway?
No, I mean, that golf course it's just so good, I think. I mean, it's just one of those perfect golf courses where, whenever you hit a good shot, you seem to get rewarded, right? It yields to good shots, and bad shots are punished, a la 200 some balls in the water this week.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I thoroughly enjoyed watching that this week. You had guys that could go out and make a bunch of birdies, um, even eagles. Um, when you're hitting good shots, but if you hit a bad one, that place can bite. You know.
Big time.
So yeah, it was fun. It was a fun tournament to watch. Some of the antics pre-tournament were kind of maybe disappointing, I guess,
What do you mean?
at a time. Um, well, you had Rory's incident
The phone
on
deal.
Tuesday. I just thought that was, I don't know.
That caught me off
I
guard.
just,
It caught me off guard that he responded that way because it's like, dude, he's not the first person to chirp some nonsense shit at you. You know,
yeah,
like
you're getting chirped on a Tuesday practice round, and you're, getting mad and getting the kid thrown out of the golf tournament.
yeah.
You know, I just don't. I'm not really on board with that.
Well, you could tell that he was embarrassed after the fact how he handled that because whenever they asked him about it in the presser, he was like, "Can I ask you?" The guy was like, "Can I ask you about the deal with the kid?" On the phone. And he's like, "No," and he's like, "Well, why not?" And he's like, "Because I don't want you to." It's like, well, yeah, because you feel bad. You realize you fucked up and you shouldn't have handled it
Yeah,
that way. You should have just went on your way.
yeah. And then Collin Morikawa's comments of I don't owe you anything. You know, I'm just like,
There was another way to handle
I,
that.
yeah, I, I don't mind that he didn't do the interview after he lost last week. I understand you're pissed. You want to trunk slam and go home. Um, I get it. I'm not ever going to get on somebody for that. Whenever you look at it, all of the greats, Tiger, he would have sat down and done the interview. Jordan Spieth would have sat down and done the interview. Jack Nicklaus, all
Well,
of the greats of the game. Phil, you know,
well, dude, a
they
perfect
would have,
perfect example is the person who had the best reason to not sit and talk to somebody this week was JJ Spaun,
yeah. And
and
he
he
sat
and
down
he
and,
and he took every interview. You know,
yeah. So, yeah, you know, you probably should do that interview. However, I'm not going to get on somebody for not doing the interview, but you don't come back the next week and the media asks you about it and you say,
I don't
well,
owe
I
you
was
anything.
I was pissed. I don't owe you guys anything. It's like, okay, well, I mean, if you don't have any viewership and you don't have the media pumping out news to get more views to your stuff, well then you're just playing a sport for no money,
Yeah,
right? So you kind of do owe the fans and the media a little bit of something. So and that's just the wrong way to go about it. You could have just said, "Yeah, sorry, I didn't, go through that with you guys. I was just pissed and wanted to go home." And you could have just left it at that, and no one's really gonna have any problem with that. But you go
yeah.
and say,
He ruffled feathers.
"I don't owe you anything." That's just not the right way to go about it, and it's just kind of disappointing, I guess, to see some of the game's best act in that fashion really in a time where you're trying to merge two tours together and you're pitting one tour against the other. PGA Tour is supposed to be the good guys when you've got our guys acting like, you
Yeah,
know, children out there this week.
yeah. It was kind of embarrassing, dude. I had the same thought. Really with Colin, man. Like Rory's, I mean, the kid hit a nerve. He threw it into the water. The kid threw out 2011 Masters. Like, still, you can't act that way. But Colin's deal, dude, you're exactly right. I mean, even with Rory, you're right. But like with Collins, dude, just say I was upset. I'm sorry. I just didn't want to talk to you guys, and that was
Yeah,
it. You know,
would have been
felt
fine.
I felt like I had it in the bag, and all of a sudden on 16, Henley makes a great shot, and takes the wind out of my sails, and I don't come away with the W, and I'm frustrated. Sorry. And the end of story. And nobody has a problem with that, and life goes on. But then you get that other stupid comment that he made to the um to the Brandel Chambleys and the Rocco Mediates, and he threw out one other name in there.
We just kind of doubled down on it.
Yeah, he just doubled down on it. I'm like, okay, so now you're gonna catch flack from all these guys. Like it just
Yeah,
oh well. Oh well. Hopefully his hopefully his PR team will say a little something to him, and
yeah.
next
I
for
mean, for
next time,
someone that,
Colin.
yeah, someone that seems like, I don't know, he's never seemed bad to me. He seemed like a good face for the tour. And
Yeah.
yeah, and then you kind of go, just bombed that this week.
Yeah. Yeah. It was a great tournament, dude. It was a really great tournament. The rain delay on Sunday that kind of sucked. Made for the Sunday finish and made for a really long day of golf. Um, Rory blowing the 3-shot lead, dude, coming out of the gate. Birdie 12 and 13. Eugh.
Yeah. Well,
That
I mean, he got it up to, or well, he made that really good up and down right out of the break.
Yeah, from 90 yards.
Uh,
Yeah,
was that an up and down for par, or was that
birdie.
that
A,
was a birdie?
a
Yeah,
birdie. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. I mean, what did he give? He give two shots back, I guess, after that,
Well, three because he
because
tied
he
it. He
got the
had a
third.
3-shot lead. He got to 13, and JJ was at 10.
Oh yeah, yeah. But I mean, I guess you kind of got to expect JJ to at least make one birdie or so there.
Yeah,
I guess So he gave back two shots,
yeah.
um, and driver just kind of got
Squirrely.
a little bit wild on him.
Yeah.
This was, uh, I was listening to another podcast. I mean, this is one of his worst driving weeks that he's had, and he, pulled
Well,
out a win. That's
yeah.
not necessarily Rory McIlroy fashion, so
No, but to be fair, I mean, in
kudos to
in his
him.
def in his defense, Sawgrass, to your point earlier, is just such a tough place to play. Fairways aren't easy to hit. I mean, there's water on 17 of 18 holes, so fairways are hard to hit.
Yeah.
Greens are kind of the saving grace. So
It uh it, it didn't necessarily play like the traditional players. I mean, usually that tournament is one that just ball strikers deluxe. I mean, you got to ball strike it really, really well out there to compete, and that kind of seemed to not be necessarily the case this week. Guys that were able to get it up and down a lot more around the greens were um, kind of the ones that ended up uh, thriving this week. Right?
yeah,
I mean, it was super fun to
yeah,
watch all week.
yeah. Another guy who I was really happy to see playing well, who I think is going to get another win this year, age 45, Lucas Snowglover. Um,
Yeah.
He's hitting it really well
Certified
right now.
flusher.
Certified flusher, dude. Absolutely. And you
Yeah.
you can't forget that the guy's a U.S. Open champion. He's got 6 wins on tour. I mean, he's an experienced winning tour pro. Despite what anybody wants to say, it's 45. He doesn't have injury. He doesn't have an injury bug, dude. I mean, we saw this a few years ago with Ryan Palmer and Stuart Sink. Um, Clipped a few wins late in their kind of golden years of the PGA Tour as well. So yeah, I'm thinking Lucas Glover could get a win. I'm hopeful. I think one that we might see him get is the John Deere Classic. Um, if he goes to that tournament, that's one I'm pretty certain he's won before, so I could see him getting that one again. The only problem is you got to go really low there, so you got to just make a ton of
Hmm.
birdies.
What's man? I'm kind of almost after watching this week. It seemed the guys that use those long putters and like the claw grips especially had a really tough time putting on those greens.
Yeah,
Like especially whenever the pressure ramped up. Like Ashke could not get a putt to the hole after the pressure ramped up,
he
and
left
then
everything short, dude, all week. So
and
did so
him
did JJ.
yeah, him and Spaun both did that a ton. I mean, that's why Spaun three putted two, maybe three times on Sunday.
Yeah,
Um, that right there pretty much cost him the tournament.
yeah.
Um, and Ashke, I mean, he did everything but make a putt on that back nine. I mean, he had
He
tons
he
and
ball
tons and
he ball
tons
struck
of
it
good
probably
looks.
better than anybody. I would say tee to green.
Yeah,
I didn't look at the strokes gained stat, but I'm sure he was like top 5 in stroke gain
yeah,
tee to green.
yeah. He had so many good looks and just couldn't make anything. Started Saturday for him. So I just wonder, you go to that the broomstick putter. How much does that hold up under pressure? Because you kind of almost you're forced to use a little bit smaller muscles, I think, whenever you're putting with the broomstick, right? Because you're holding it here, trying to hold it basically stable right
Yeah,
there, and then you're kind of just using your right arm to swing the putter, whereas you can kind of more so use your shoulders
yeah,
with a regular putter,
yeah.
you know.
It's just
that has
everything's
something to do with it.
for me. It's just everything is so far from your body and disconnected. I mean, I get that your hand's here, but like there's so much space going on that it feels like there's all this room for your right hand to not be because it's not anchored to your body like it used to be allowed. It feels like there's still all this room for manipulation in your stroke. Whereas when you're traditional, you get your biceps pinned to the side of your body. You try to get your elbows as close to your body, your hands close to your waist, and you can have this very small controlled motion. I don't know, man. I mean, I feel like Adam Scott's really the only person to ever have any real success,
Yeah, I mean, that's what
with that.
I've only seen. I mean, think even just the claw grip. I mean, who have we seen win a big tournament like a major
I mean, Scotty's
with
the
the
only one.
claw grip? Well, I mean, he wasn't even using the claw last year
No, he
whenever he was
was.
winning.
No, he was. He switched. Yeah, he was. No, he switched to the claw at the Honor Palmer.
He he switched to it this year. He switched to the mallet
Mallet at the Arnold Palmer.
last year.
That's right. Yeah, because that's right. Because
It was,
he's doing a mixture. He's doing like lag putting, 25 footers
mhm,
plus with traditional. No, that's right. That's right.
yeah,
Dude, I don't know. And speaking of, I'm glad you brought up Scotty because I was wanting to talk about him, man. He first off, did you see Phil's take? He said
yeah,
that Jocko, he
yeah,
thinks is the number one
yeah.
player in the world. Okay, I don't know about that. I mean, I'll give him top 10. I think if he was still on PGA Tour, I think he's probably a top 10, maybe top 15 player in the world. But to say Scotty's not going to win again, not going to win before the Ryder Cup, that is the definition of a hot take. I mean, dude, don't get me wrong. Guys have hot streaks and fizzle out. We can name a bunch of the guys that have done that. And Scotty might fit that mold. But I'll tell you what, if he keeps yanking every putt left and if he keeps double crossing the nuts off the golf ball, he is going to struggle to win. That's for sure.
Yeah, I expected he drove it really well at the Arnold Palmer, and then he didn't necessarily drive it super well this week, which is a very tough driving golf course. So
Yeah.
um, I could get it. He was getting pretty fiery out there
Yeah.
over the weekend, which I mean I don't mind seeing that. I
No,
would rather a guy,
I want to
yeah,
see more
show
of
a
that out
little
of
bit.
Scotty specifically. Like,
Yeah, I mean this was what a bad finish for him. I think he was still top 20
yeah,
again this week. I mean,
yeah.
he's still right there. If you think he's not going to pull one out
Uh,
before the Ryder Cup, I think you're a little insane. But
yeah.
whatever.
Well, I so the first comment on that post that Phil made, he said it. I was like, man, maybe that's spot on. And he was like, he said something like Phil's chirping just to stay relevant or something like that. I'm like, well, yeah, maybe kind of. I'm like, yeah, maybe kind of. I mean, like you're on the Live Tour, so you don't have the PGA Tour, like publicity. And then secondly, like you're kind of old. You haven't since the 2022 PGA, or I think it was 2022. Yeah. Anyway, so it's like, all right.
Yeah, there's a reason he's leaning into the YouTube
Yeah.
as much as he is. I mean, I think he's always just kind of liked stuff like that
Yeah.
and gets
Personally, I
more
actually think it's
eyeballs
great.
on him.
I've
Yeah.
always been a huge Phil fan. I mean, I got Phil's book right here. Like, I love Phil, and I think his personality is great. I think his sense of humor is really good. I think
Hmm.
his banter on the golf course is great. And dude, let's not dispute the fact that I mean, he's a top 10 all time golfer. I don't,
Yeah.
I wouldn't give him top five. He's top 10 though for sure. You know,
Yeah.
so there's an immense amount of knowledge and short game skill that he can still provide to the game. So
Hmm.
yeah, I mean the YouTube stuff is cool, but he's still trying to stay relevant for sure
Yeah.
with a comment like that. Yeah, man, tough week for JJ Spaun, dude. Me and you were both rooting for him. I mean, Rory's an
Yeah.
established winner, but I was so when he hit that putt on 18, I'm like, because I saw Johnson Wagner, they hit that putt on the playing through, not the playing through, the how Johnson Wagner sometimes does that. He'll hit shots like
Hmm.
they picked that shot right after they cut the hole on 18 Sunday morning, and they hit that putt, and I saw it. And so then when JJ had that same putt, I was like, oh boy, this looks pretty good for line. But I didn't know about pace because he had left everything short all week. Needed
Yeah.
1.5 revolution, dude.
hmm Yeah. And then did you watch the playoff?
Yeah. Yeah. I watched it on my way to St. Louis yesterday.
Yeah. I just so I guess I was listening to some other stuff yesterday, and uh, I think just kind of an experience is what kind of got JJ in that one.
He's just never been in a playoff, man.
Yeah, yeah, he hit a poor drive on 16 and makes par, whatever, that's fine. Um, well, actually, no, he hit a fine drive, right? He just hit a
Well, he
bad bunker shot.
well he hit it in the right rough.
Yeah. Yeah, okay, and then hit a good shot from there to get it in that greenside bunker, and then just
Yeah.
didn't hit the
Hit a
best
poor bunker shot.
bunker
Yeah.
shot there. But I mean, his club pull on 17, you had some wind in. They said he was peeking at Rory's golf
Oh,
bag
yeah, I
after
saw it.
Rory pulled,
Yeah.
and so um, I mean, a guy that was just in an interview all week this week talking about how well he's hitting three-quarter shots, and you take, that much into him pulling a 9-iron. It's like, yeah, I mean, he probably is a club longer than you, but he's been talking about hitting these 75% shots
All week.
all week.
Yeah.
And you take that, and it's like, plus, it's a playoff. You kind of got to know, like, I'm probably a little juiced right now, right? I'm probably going to hit this iron.
Yeah.
If it's a 160 club, I'm probably hitting it every bit of 165, 167, maybe even 170.
Yeah.
And I mean, he flushed it. I think he hit the
It
exact shot he was
it
trying to
was
hit. It was just,
it looked great when he hit it. I was like,
yeah,
oh boy, like that might be
yeah,
close. And
yeah, high spinny cut, and it was just the wrong
he just
club if he had hit 9-iron.
he pierced it. He absolutely pierced it. Yeah, dude, that was my same thought. I was like, I was hope we didn't hear any of the back and forth between JJ's caddy and him, but like, dude, in that situation, your player's never been in a playoff, let alone a playoff at the Players, let alone a playoff against Rory McIlroy, who's been there, done it many times. There's adrenaline going, dude. You'll get a 9-iron there, and the wind, which was the biggest factor on during the playoff, was above the grandstands. It was they showed this
Mhm.
uh, display on the top, like coming over the grandstands was like 25-mile-an-hour wind, but down on the tee box was only 12, and so that was a hard thing to dispute. So maybe they just felt
Yeah,
like they had more wind, but yeah, 9-iron, I think he would have juiced it and at the very least found the center of the green or front center. But I think he would.
mhm.
I think he gets it there. I think he gives it a little bit more, knowing that he feels like he's got less club.
Yeah, I think I would rather see a guy like try to hit a shot, try to pierce something low through the wind, kind of take the wind out of it there, rather than
Try to,
depend on the wind to stop this ball, you
yeah.
know, when it gets up there, because that's just that's
Well,
kind of out of your control.
and that's exactly what he said in his post interview. He's like we. Didn't get the gust. So he was depending on the wind. So
Yeah.
yeah, man. Well, congrats to Rory. 28 wins, 30's around the corner. First time he's ever won two tournaments before Augusta. I'm thinking he's now at this point. I feel like this will be the first time that he's really going to contend at Augusta, based on the juju he's got going, how well he's hitting it, he's putting well, he's doing every part of the game well. So we'll see. JJ Spaun playing the best golf of his life since his win at the um, Texas Open a few years ago. So hopefully he can get a second win, really kind of boost his career. He's getting
hmm
late in the game too. Upcoming week, Valspar, Copperhead, brute of a golf course, absolute just like wrecker of a golf course. This course will
Yeah.
tear your game apart if you're not hitting it well. Who you got?
Yeah.
Oh, actually, I get to go first. I
Yeah.
get to
You've
go
got.
first. I got the win.
Yeah.
Thank God, JT. We didn't even talk about that. JT went absolutely unconscious, lights out at the Players on Friday after shooting 78 on Thursday. Um, I was so upset. I was so upset that he bogeyed the 18th. I mean, I was so upset. But anyways, he tied Tom Hoagie's, course record. So got a course
Yeah.
record, among many others that he's got on tour. But uh, yeah, so he got me back in the game. Instead of going down 5-1, it's now 4-2. So I'm inching my way back into the game. I'm gonna go with Corey Connors.
Going with Corey Connors this
Going
week.
with Corey Connors out of Copperhead. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, a little disappointing week by Hideki for me. Now, I
Yeah.
mean, he shot five over his first nine. They started on the back
Yeah. Clawed his
on
way
on
back to
Thursday,
shoot. I mean, he
and
shot
he
one
was
under.
even. He was, yeah. Well, he was even for the tournament, and
Yeah.
that missed the cut. The cut was one under.
Yeah. Right.
Um, so I mean, yeah, it's one of those. If he maybe shoots, a 39 instead of 41 on that backside,
Yeah.
he could have found himself right there in the tournament. Thursday when they could have, withstood those conditions and gone low over the weekend.
Yeah.
He might have been right there, but um, yeah, it wasn't meant to be this week.
Yeah.
Yeah, I am going with Tommy Fleetwood this week.
Tommy Fleetwood. Okay. All right. Yeah. Um. Hmm. Interesting pick. Okay. I feel like, I mean, Tommy lives in Florida, doesn't he? He lives in Jupiter, right? I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So accustomed to Florida golf. I mean, expect him to play well.
Yeah, someone who
What?
plays par threes really well and still has enough length to play par fives really well. Just a golf course that's got four par fives and five par threes.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
par 71.
Yeah. I mean, he's such a good iron player. You look for him to be in the latter half of par three scoring.
Yeah.
The upper half. So. All right, Tommy Fleetwood versus Corey Connors, the Englishman versus the Canadian, and then my alternate pick, I'm gonna go with Jacob Bridgman. He's in the field, been playing some good golf, so we'll see if I don't think either of our guys are gonna withdraw, but in the event,
Yeah.
so Jacob Bridgman, who you got?
I've got Lucas Glover.
Oh, Lucas No Glover.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
All right,
He's in good form.
yeah. Oh man. Okay. Well, we were talking on the right before we got on here. I'm gonna go play. I'm gonna take Rory to daycare here in 15 minutes, and then from there I'm gonna head over to the golf course and play 18. It's gonna be a windy one. Had two really really good practice sessions over the past 4 or 5 days, so I'm hoping to translate that to some good scoring out there today. Um, Start my new job on the 1st, so I'll have a couple weeks here to really log some rounds before it's pretty much committed to evening and weekend rounds.
Yeah,
So do as much as I can to get prepared. And you're playing later today, hopefully.
probably. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
At least get a little practice in.
Yeah, for sure. All right, y'all. Well, that will do it for this episode of our weekly wrap. Corey Connors versus a one Tommy Fleetwood with the mullet. So stay tuned. It was a great week at the Players. Guys, go like, comment, subscribe, follow Three Wiggle Golf Co. Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. Subscribe, and subscribe. Love y'all. See you in the next episode. Peace, brother.